this video, I'm going to go over some tips, tricks, and general advice for creating unique, beautiful fashion builds that will stand out from the crowd. Some of these tips will also challenge your fashion creation ability, forcing you to not cut corners or take the easy way out. Before we start, I want to emphasize this very important statement. If you think your fashion build looks good, that's all that matters. You don't have to follow these tips. They won't improve your chances to get picked for Threads of Light or get a fashion emblem. They are just some of my criteria for finding some of the best fashion builds. They are also my own self-imposed rules and guidelines that even I don't follow sometimes. With all that being said, let's get into number 1. Number 1, using armor pieces from the same set. It's no surprise that armor pieces from the same set look good together. Therefore, creating a build that uses multiple armor pieces from the same set is less impressive than someone finding 5 pieces from 5 different builds that somehow all fit together perfectly. Does that mean you can't have any armor pieces from the same set together? Absolutely not. Many of my builds have 2 and sometimes 3 pieces from the same set. If you need another piece from the same set to really complete the look, there's nothing wrong with that. But the more sets that you can incorporate into your build, the better. Number 2, using very popular armor pieces. Not all Destiny armor is created equal. In every fashion show, you start to see some patterns and repetition with a few pieces of popular armor that are easier to make look good. Again, let me stress this. Does this mean you shouldn't use these pieces? Absolutely not. These are beautiful armor pieces that the community has agreed look good. However, let's think about this from the opposite side. What pieces of armor haven't you seen used by others in fashion shows? Can you make builds with them? Can you make them look good? This is part of the challenge and fun of build creation, in my opinion. Go back through your collections and find a piece you haven't seen anyone else use and make it your own. Number 3, using the same shader on all of your armor pieces. I'm a sucker for a good color scheme. I love when primary colors and accent colors match and complement the set. Achieving this can be very easy by using the same shader on all pieces in your set. Shaders are designed to look the same on multiple pieces of armor, which means it's an easy choice to use the same shader on all of your armor pieces to get a cohesive, good-looking color scheme. We even have a tool for applying a shader to your entire set in the transmog screen. I can fall into this trap too, as you can see by my Dawn Slayer Titan here. I just couldn't find another shader that gave me those yellow accents. And there's nothing wrong with doing this, especially if it helps you achieve the look you're going for. The challenge in number 3 is, can you use multiple shaders on your armor pieces and still achieve a cohesive, color-matched build? With so many shaders in Destiny, you'd be surprised how many shaders you can find that go together better than you might have thought. Next time, when finding a shader that fits your set, go through the pieces individually and see if you can find another shader that works even better for an extra challenge. Number 4, using popular shaders. 2 of the most popular color schemes in Destiny are black and white. Many Guardians are obsessed with creating the darkest looking hunters or a spotless, angelic, white warlock. It's far more rare to find a good looking fashion set that uses colors like red, blue, yellow, and green. Some of the most impressive builds I've seen are sets that are dark green covered in brown rust, brown and yellow beautifully weaved together, or neon pinks and purples that somehow work together. It's undeniable that dark and light color schemes are fantastic, but they are also a little easier to create, so just keep that in mind if you want to challenge yourself. With all that being said, some of the most popular shaders to stay away from if you want to challenge yourself in your builds are Chatter White, Amethyst Veil, Honors of the Nine, the Dead Orbit shaders, Monochromatic, the Black Armory shaders, and Skelegull. There are a few more that I could mention, but that just gives you some examples of some of the most popular shaders I see that will turn your Guardian into a good-looking dark or light build. Again, there's nothing wrong with using these, but if you want a challenge in creating your builds, try something new. Number 5, using a theme. Sometimes builds don't need a backstory. Sometimes they don't need a name. If you like your fit because of the way it looks for no particular reason, that's awesome. If you're like me, however, you like to create builds that fit a certain theme. The theme can be referencing something from popular culture like a movie, game, or show. It can be referencing something from in Destiny like an enemy or friendly faction or an NPC. Or it can be a theme entirely from your own imagination, something that you create with a unique name and lore behind it. When creating my builds, I like to find a theme as early as possible, as it will help me choose shaders and armor sets the further I get. My advice here is to own the look of your build with a theme or at least a name to tie a nice bow onto your build. Number 6, using an exotic. This is a polarizing topic in the fashion community. I've seen people in the comments of fashion builds knocking the build because the player didn't use an exotic in their build. Will I go that far? Of course not. There's nothing wrong with not having an exotic in your build if you can't find one that will fit. The reason I include this in my list is using an exotic is harder than not, and can produce better results when using one correctly. Exotic armor is not designed to fit in with your builds, and oftentimes they look very unique, making them harder to match with the rest of your armor pieces. Sometimes when starting to create a build, I'll actually start with an exotic. It helps when choosing your shaders and armor pieces, and even when going with a theme. There are more and more exotic ornaments being added every season, so find exotics that you like, find exotic ornaments that you like, and create some builds using your favorites. Number 7 is our final tip, and it's completely optional. Number 7 is using sparrows, emblems, ships, and emotes to add the finishing touch to your build. Are you done with your build? Do you love what you created? Is the theme you created obvious? A fun and optional thing you can do after creating your build is to add some finishing touches with elements like your ghost shell, your sparrow, your emblem, and even your emotes. When submitting to Threads of Light, Bungie asks us to send a screenshot of our appearance screen, which none of these elements appear on. However, some users will post screenshots of their character screen or their emote preview screen, along with their appearance screen, to give you even more of a look at the theme of their build. Using these elements can be fun and can further the look of your theme of your build, but remember that this probably won't further your chances to win an emblem or get picked for Threads of Light. I hope this video helps show a few things that you can do to challenge yourself when creating fashion builds in Destiny. I want to stress one more time that these tips and tricks do not need to be followed to create good-looking fashion builds. These do not need to be followed in order to win a fashion emblem or get on the cover of Threads of Light. I don't even think that Bungie follows any kind of guidelines like this when making their selections. However, if you're watching this video, and especially if you made it to the end, it means that you're looking to challenge yourself and go above and beyond to create some of the best builds this community has ever seen. You all have inspired me so much in the past few weeks. I'm constantly trying to improve my builds and think outside of the box when build crafting after seeing what you guys come up with. Thanks for watching. Keep those tweets and posts coming with #ThreadsOfLight. I can't wait to see what you come up with next. Until next time, Guardian.